I'm Lex, and to give you some background, where I come from, I'm from Auckland, and I'm teaching at Ormiston Senior College, which is a new state senior college. It's purpose-built with modern learning environments. You know, the establishment board did a lot of, they had a lot of institutional knowledge they came with from different backgrounds, and so they had a very clear idea and very clear purpose of how they wanted the school to work. So the school was built before it was, before the teachers and the students were considered. The principal and the deputy principals, they came on a year early and half a year early, and I was part of the foundation staff, and we had a term. So what we looked at, we looked into filling the gaps, so that space between the built environment and the practice in the classroom. So we had a lot of time to talk and share and think about just how we were going to make it work. You know, we're given this, and we have no choice. It's been built. It costs $30 million, so, and we've got to use it. So modern learning environments became a big part of who I was as a teacher. Well, we had talked and we had looked at extensive research, and we talked with some schools, but it was time, I thought, I really want to look outside and to see what other people are doing, because of course you're talking with your extended teaching network, and you know, there are other schools that are involved in creating new learning environments, and it seemed to me that we were all kind of groping around in the dark sometimes, because we were the networks that were established for us to, you know, discuss this. We were the fora to discuss this. Really, I was most interested in the research and the practice and the pedagogy, and it was a chance to share the journey. I was specifically looking for a range of schools who were at different points. Nosy. I really enjoy seeing what other people are doing, and I'm also very critical and self-reflective. So I think to go out and have a look at what other people are doing, it just is so valuable, you know, in informing what you do. The process was, after we had our initial meeting here, where we had some professional learning about leading a group, and you know, the pitfalls and the challenges, where we had to go back and we had to develop our own processes, our own groups. I wanted to draw on some of the existing networks and relationships that we had built, so I could formalise those relationships and set up a forum with which we could discuss some of our goals and objectives. So we met twice a term. The people involved were these groups here: Albany, Hobsonville, Ormiston, Waiuku and Western Springs. Our goal was to think about practice and pedagogy, and you've got people who are thinking of doing it and building it. Western Springs is completely redeveloping. They're raising their old school and they're building a completely new one. So they were interested in the research and the thought behind it and the processes involved in getting staff on board and selling that kind of collective ownership. And you've got Waiuku College who were doing it on a smaller scale, so they were going to redevelop their social science area. In the Hobsonville point, they've only formed as a staff. Like the foundation, big group of staff at the start of this term, so they were brand new, and it was great to get them on board. So we were at different stages in dealing with modern learning environments. So what did we do in practice? We facilitated most of the meetings and the minutes and things through the Google Apps suite. It was accessible, it was easy. One of the things we did was we tried to share and collect the resources. We've got all of the body of research that our school used to set up, and you know, Sean from Western Springs had done a lot of research, so it was going, well, here's all of the stuff that we've used. It's about collecting it all together, because it must be really frustrating to go and try and find out about something and just start from scratch, and there's no need to do that. So the Ministry of Education website has a whole lot of material on modern learning environments. The private providers had a lot of information on modern environments, but it was, well, where's the focus and can we draw all of this stuff together? So part of the function of the website was just being a storage unit. And from that point, we were able to talk about the research, and then we tasked ourselves with little homework tasks, or it's using tables to try and filter. For example, like what we're doing now, what would be ideal, like the bridges and barriers for all the different areas we're looking at. So that was part of some of the exercises we did together. A big part of it was taking the research and applying it to our context, and then critically examining it. A good example of this is the Ken Fisher. This really interesting research on modern learning environments, but he's also come up with real good, an interesting framework which we could work with. So we looked at this critically. We said how it works and how it doesn't for our schools, and we came up with our own examples of it. So it was taking the research and having a chance to be able to digest it as a group and to just throw it out there, and it's interesting because of the different places we were in that development process, how we could share those different perspectives. So that was really useful. I took videos of the different participants just to see what were they expecting from the group, and they become a good reflection tool. Awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a video camera in your face, and you've got to tell me about what you're feeling, what you're thinking. It was quite emotive. It's quite a stressful experience for some of the schools, because it involves pulling the rug out from under your feet. I mean, there's nothing more fundamental than the walls around you. So it not only did we do the more cerebral kind of stuff, and we were able to have a safe forum with which to discuss what was at the top for us. So we kept a whole section of the meeting just for that unloading and critical reflection. Another really important and happy and unexpected byproduct was that we linked with other groups. This group here is a well-established open learning spaces group run by Chris Bradbeer in Auckland, and from when I was doing my own Google trawl through the website, through the web, his name came up. So I had a license to go and talk to him and establish contacts and say, well, this is the group that what we're trying to do, and I see what you're trying to do. Let's work together to a common purpose. The independent work that people do to further their own aims and goals, that's amazing. For example, Sean Hawthorne at Western Springs College has created websites and has an amazing body of knowledge, and to think that it would be used once would be tragic. I think we changed when we needed to, and we swapped conversational tacks and went off on tangents, and that was difficult as a facilitator first, but then it's about ceding over ownership to the group, and I think in the end that was the most important thing. That without that shared ownership, the group probably might have floundered. That's the topic, the subject. It's challenging in itself, but also the criticism and honest engagement there was really crucial. And there were senior leaders and teachers involved, but coming from a cross-school group, you don't come with your position, and I think you're in more of a position to challenge. I come from a personalised learning school, so I'm becoming less and less accepting of one-size-fits-all anything. I accept that almost completely for students. I believe that for a student to learn effectively, you need to personalise the education. We work really hard at our school to do so. So why would you not do that for your staff? We've built a group that operates independently, established a network that is very small, but it's growing. I like that it's been critical and challenging, and I like that we're building a range of resources and ideas.